What do we have at the foundation of the reading? The Star. Aquarius energy at the foundation of the reading. What do we have at the sacral, please? Nine of Wands. Sag energy at the sacral. And then what do we have at the solar plexus? Eight of Cups, Pisces energy at the solar plexus. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that a lot of you are preparing to step back out into the world after being in some sort of isolation where you were rebuilding yourself. There's some sort of door or portal that I feel has opened up for a lot of you, energetically speaking. This could be showing up in your everyday waking lives as just feeling as though the energy is beginning to move. You could have opportunities beginning to come your way. It also feels like a lot of energy has really backed up and now the floodgates are opening. The Star card at the foundation of the reading is telling us that you have this newfound sense of hope. I feel that you went into isolation due to some sort of event or circumstance. And while you were in this space, you were guided by spirit to just really work on your connection with source, with the divine, whoever you look to for your higher power. And now you're stepping back out with a newfound sense of discernment with this Nine of Wands at the sacral. I feel that a lot of you have come from these seasons of your life where all of the things you tried to manifest hit walls, or they would just slip through your fingers. So you started to look at some of the finer details of your life, your environment, the people in it, mindsets, behavioral patterns, and you saw that there was some work that needed to be done there. And you knew deep down that the only way you were going to pull this manifestation through is if you started addressing these things that you knew needed some work. And this was not easy with this Eight of Cups at the solar plexus. But you concluded that the only way that you were truly going to get your power back is if you disconnected with said energies. I just heard a message. I'm old enough to know what I'm talking about and still young enough to prove it. I feel that this really speaks about where a lot of you are in regards to your wisdom. You've been through a lot. And I feel that this is also telling me that you're transitioning from the student to the teacher. Now, this is speaking to me more about the hierarchy of wisdom. It's a sort of relationship that we have with the universe, right? It's when the universe says to you, without saying it to you, okay, you've learned enough from these spaces. We're going to graduate you on to the next cycle of your life. You've extracted all the wisdom you needed to extract. So let's put you into this new cycle here, and you are going to become more of a teacher as opposed to a student. You're not going to be learning so much, you're going to be teaching more, right? So you may find yourself in situations where people are looking to you for some sort of guidance. There's many different ways this can show up. It can show up in your careers, it can show up in your family, friends, but a lot of the times it can go without you even really noticing it. It could just be a conversation you have with somebody in passing. See, the universe doesn't look at all of these finer details in our life about our career and all this stuff. They just see it as they need us in a certain space to move some energy around. And then the finer details of that is us living out our day-to-day life. What do we have at the heart position, please, Spirit? Six of Wands. Leo energy at the heart. So this is following what we're saying here perfectly, okay? Because the Six of Wands is the energy of some sort of personal triumph, okay? There's some sort of victory here that you're either moving towards now or you're in. There just seems to be an energy where you're feeling a lot more confident. And, you know, the Six of Wands is also the energy of you being a boss. So this can confirm what I was saying about you becoming the teacher now, right? There's some sort of praise and recognition that I'm getting here from spirit, from the universe. There's a graduation that's taken place inside your energy. And I'm also feeling a tremendous amount of support here. It's like you have gone through some sort of boot camp in your life, and now you're coming out of it. I also feel a lot of you are beginning to feel a resurgence of energy coming back to you, quite possibly after a few months of feeling really depleted, almost like it's a struggle just to get a couple of tasks done a day. But now there's a lot of movement here. And again, this has everything to do with the astrology. You're especially going to start feeling this after we come out of this retrograde, which I think is early next week. But there's already hints of this taking place right now. So you could be putting some plans in place or feeling the need to. There could be a lot of ideas coming to you. I'm also hearing that a lot of you could be receiving downloads, intuitive guidance, ideas just out of nowhere. This is one of these energies where you spend months wondering if the universe is hearing you, and then all of a sudden, everything just starts flooding through. It's like the universe saying, yeah, we got all your messages. We've just been really busy, but we're on to you now. So here you are. Here's all these downloads. Get to work. That's the energy that I'm getting for all of you. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant. So this is confirming what I just said about the universe, source, spirit, the divine, God, being very close to you and working with you at this time, okay? What do we have at the throat? Hangman, Pisces energy at the throat. Now, this hangman is highlighting what I said in regards to you seeing things from this higher perspective, you seeing things in a way that you hadn't seen them before, and you did the necessary releasing to be able to move forward on this path. But this is a process. It takes time to let go of things fully. But what I'm getting here for all of you is, you know it needs to be done, right? We don't need to heal ourselves overnight. Healing is a lifelong process. The key here is to just be self-aware enough to know what needs some work. That's it. And then just gradually start working on those things. And that's this newfound perspective that you have over yourself and your life. The hangman is also representing the wisdom that has been gathered. And you see, a lot of the wisdom that you have gathered, if not all of it, has to do with healing. Our whole entire life trajectory, our purpose for even being here, is going to be rooted in healing, always. Everything we do that is in alignment with our destiny has to do with healing. And a lot of the times it's not going to look that way on the surface, but if you break it all the way down, there is some sort of evolutionary chain that is right at the core of it. So whatever that is for you, that's what you need to nurture at this time. And, you know, just a little side note, that's one of the keys for truly finding your purpose, if you're wondering, right? What inside of me needs healing? What needs some attention? And it's in that space that you'll typically find something unique that was just crafted by the universe just for you. And it will open up a whole new world to you. You know, most people, when they go through this healing process, you know, of the spiritual kind, this is when they open themselves up to all these new ideas, these downloads, and it's typically in that space when you've never felt so close to the divine. Of course, right? The divine's trying to heal you. They're trying to show you things about yourself. And when you come out of that space, or when you've done enough healing to start moving forward on your path, this is when things become clearer to you. Wow, I never knew this about myself. You know, I went through this in my life, and now I've really started to focus on how I can heal those parts of me, and all these ideas are coming to me. I feel the need to do this. I feel the need to do that. That's what we're talking about here. So we've just taken this entire channeling to a whole other depth. I'm telling you, no matter what it is you guys are doing out there in your lives, or what it is you're feeling called to do, healing is going to be right at the root of it. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Chariot. Wow. Cancer energy at the third eye. So the Chariot is another card that represents victory. Six of Wands, Chariot. But it's also an energy of action. It's an energy of change. And this is really what I was picking up right at the very beginning of the reading. There's this new portal. There's this new opportunity, whatever it is for you. And you are now making your way down that path. The Chariot is also a card that represents some sort of personal triumph. And I feel that this has to do with your willpower or overcoming some sort of obstacles, things that may have been holding you back. It's like finally you see your way around this. And the way that I'm beginning to look at this energy now, it seems as though the Star card is the destination. And this Chariot card feels like it wants to come before the Star card. And if you look here, yeah, see that material there? It almost looks like the sky on the Star card. See how the stars, and then on here, there's the stars. So it's like you have this newfound sense of hope, this vision, this dream, and you're charging towards it in the Chariot, right? Which gets you to this. This gives you graduating a cycle. It's like you have this newfound wisdom and perspective you're working with, and you've managed to remove yourself from spaces that may have been restricting you. And now you begin to push forward with the Chariot. See, the Chariot is giving to me you making your way to the next cycle, to the next chapter, to the next level in the game, so to speak. What do we have at the Crown, please? Well, that card really flipped out. Okay, what do we got here? Lovers, Gemini energy at the Crown. So what I'm getting with the Lovers here is alignment. As you can see, we have spirit, we have the feminine and the masculine. And I feel that these are just representing the two polarities that we all have, right? We all have feminine energy, we all have masculine energy. It's like there's a sense of alignment here that is taking place, and the Sun card is right there. So Sun card is also an energy of alignment. Also the most positive card in the tarot. And it's also being represented here, right? There's the Sun, there's spirit, there's the feminine and masculine. Yeah, I just heard calibration. And the fact that we're getting this right at the Crown, which in my readings is spirit, is the divine, is very significant. Yeah, I just heard you're in alignment now. Okay, I feel that that really says it all. Okay, so you had to go through all of this to get to a point where you're now aligned with some sort of manifestation, which was the whole point of this exercise, right? You realize that in order to be able to achieve a certain thing in your life, you were going to have to make some changes. So now you are in alignment because the changes have been made. And for some of you, you could just be starting out on this path. There's always going to be different groups of you that are graduating on to the next cycle at different times. But the message should speak to you no matter where you are on this path if you resonate with the overall tone of the message. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? The Magician, Baphomet, right underneath that star card. And there it is. So now what we're starting to see is that, yes, there was certainly something connected to these things in your life that were keeping you from this alignment, right? This is representing the things that were really holding you back. You know, the Magician from this particular deck can represent something that was scattering your energy. Or, yeah, I'm seeing a wheel just spinning in the mud in my mind's eye, right? It's like no matter how much work you put into a certain space, no matter how talented you are, there was something in the energy that was completely blocking you. And now that blockage is beginning to release. You know, a lot of this really had to do with the lack of focus that these spaces caused you. I'm also picking up on self-doubt, or maybe you not using your abilities, your talents, your gifts in the correct way because of some sort of influence that you may have had around you. And, you know, again, this could be mindsets, right? It could be you holding yourself back because there's some sort of lack of confidence there. And the lack of confidence could be the direct result of something environmental. So we can connect all of these things, right? It can simply start with there being a toxic person in your environment that speaks some sort of self-doubt into your ear, right? In regards to what it is you're trying to manifest. And maybe it comes off as harmless, but that doesn't stop it from planting a seed inside the subconscious mind. So then as time goes on, that seed just begins to sprout. And then all of a sudden, you begin limiting yourself. It almost feels like those talents, those abilities, that vision is being siphoned from you. Because it is. I mean, this is a form of siphoning somebody's energy by whispering words of self-doubt into their ears, so to speak, but doing it while they're cloaked inside your energy. Okay, there it is. There's many different ways that somebody can cloak themselves inside your energy, but this example I'm giving here is perfect because, again, it's something that can go unnoticed. It's like somebody who sort of hides behind you, right? Acts like they're a support, but the entire time they're controlling the narrative without you being fully aware of it. And so how do people get away with cloaking themselves in your energy? Well, it's actually very easy. By default, a lot of us trust certain individuals in our lives, our families, close friends, but people change as time goes on. And you know, when people aren't living up to the expectations that they have set for themselves, they start to target people around them. Not everybody, by any means. This is just a very specific kind of person, right? You know, we can call these narcissists. People who feel angry at the universe in some capacity, so they want to drag everybody else down with them. Because the only time they ever truly feel like they are worth something is when they are able to keep people beneath them. And that's what I'm getting here with this star card and magician pairing. This is somebody who targeted you. They saw something that you had and they knew that it was over for them. Something about this person is very wicked. It's like somebody knowing they're going to hell. So they're like, oh, well, screw it. I guess I'll just drag everybody else down with me. What do we have at the sacral, please? I guess I'll just drag everybody else down with me. And what do we get? Ball, which aligns with the Emperor in its shadow. Now, from this particular deck, I would say if there was one card that represented the narcissistic archetype more than any other, it would be this card right here, the Emperor in its shadow. This is an energy of complete domination and control. This is somebody with a big ego who abuses their power. So this is telling me that this is somebody that was quite close to you. You know, an abuse of power can also show up as somebody abusing their position in your life, right? Maybe somebody who is close to you and you would never suspect would do something harmful toward you. But when your back is turned, it's like they're having a field day with your life in some capacity. It's like the head of the snake, the source of this blockage, is right there just in your shadow. Yeah, a lot of you are moving on from this time of your life where your expectations for yourself were undermined. I feel that you just got to a point where you were sick of feeling unsupported. No matter what you did, no matter how hard you tried, there seems to be some sort of energy here that was always trying to push you down. And again, it had nothing to do with skill level or your talents. It just had to do with this person and the way they feel about themselves and their life. This is also a situation where you may have been sharing a lot of things that you were trying to manifest in your life with this energy, whatever this is that I'm picking up on. And all of a sudden, again, the manifestation would just slip through your fingers, right? And this is what the universe has really made clear to you now. So you're starting to see the less you say, right? The less you speak about these things, the closer you begin to get. And this allows you to spot who or what the enemy actually was this entire time. It's like as soon as you would share a vision, you felt like you had to defend it or protect it. You began to feel minimized, controlled, like some sort of force was suffocating you, almost beyond words, and almost to the point where you lose focus on what actually caused it, right? It's like you couldn't put two and two together. What I mean by that is that there was something about this that was so suffocating that you weren't able to see that all of this had to do with your vision and your abilities to manifest on a grand scale. So if I was to really extract a simple message from that, it's like you having a great idea, sharing it with somebody, and then all of a sudden the manifestation is slipping through your fingers. And this person is trying to control every facet of your life and or trying to control the narrative, right? It's like saying that the more you spoke about it, the more this person tried to separate you from it. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Wow. Five of Swords, Aquarius energy underneath that Eight of Cups at the solar plexus. So this follows everything we just said perfectly. Five of Swords is speaking about you needing to terminate some sort of unhealthy relationship in your life. And also speaks about you seeing this energy now. It's like they can't cloak themselves inside your energy anymore. Simply put, you're starting to see now that the enemy has always been within breathing distance from you. Check your people, okay? Like I said, everyone changes, and it's not always for the better. Just because a lot of you are leveling up and things are improving in your life does not mean the same for other people, especially in this world we live in. People are desperate out there. People will throw their whole family under a bus if they think they're going to get some sort of level up from it. Just because you may have the same blood running through your veins as somebody else doesn't mean anything. In fact, the reality of what it probably really means is the opposite than what a lot of us have been taught. You know, many of you out there were birthed into these particular families because you had to uncover the demons that were hiding within those family lineages. You don't owe anything to anyone just because you share the same last name or have the same blood running through your veins. But you do owe it to yourself to be happy, to feel safe, and to feel like you mean something. I'm sorry to say, but this energy here that I'm picking up for all of you was trying to take that from you because it relinquished its own blessings a long, long time ago. You know, people know the evil they do, and they can feel it when it impacts their life. And this is a story as old as time, right? Lucifer's fall. I mean, that's the prime example of what I'm getting here. The revolt, right? It's same energy here. It's like, fine, well, I've already done this evil. I've already committed these wicked acts. I may as well go all in. You know, the mindset of this person here is better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. You know, a lot of these people who live these kinds of lifestyles, right? We already concluded they know they're going to hell, but they actually think, and I'm not just saying this, this is well documented. They actually think that the more evil they commit while they're here, the more comfortable they'll be when they get to hell. Think about the kind of person, the kind of mind it takes to even come to that conclusion. Just a level of depravity that they have given over to actually even think those things. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, the Devil. Whew. I'm hearing something here about you withdrawing your energy from these spaces, and the wheel of karma begins to turn. Yeah, I'm also hearing that a lot of these people were propping themselves up with your presence. So this can also further highlight what I said about cloaking themselves in your energy. You know, there's so much bad karma accumulated for these individuals here that there's no way that you could even be in their environment. So it's like the divine saying, hey, we can't serve them all this karma yet until our people move out of the way. It's like these people are using you as a shield. When it comes to karma and people getting what they deserve, this is actually a really positive thing, especially when you think about the universe from a macro perspective. You see that that is the act that is necessary to start realigning those people with their north path, right? In other words, it's like the universe reprimanding them, and that is necessary. You know, you look at these people like children, right? And they need to be disciplined by the universe. And, you know, a lot of the times that's not going to be that pretty, but it's necessary. And for those of you out there who leave the comments on these readings, when I say things similar to this, you know, the comments that say, I don't wish any bad upon them, I don't want them to get their karma, you need to understand that by you saying that, by you thinking that, you're getting in the way. Okay, because they need to be disciplined. And because you don't want them to get disciplined is actually working more against them than for them. See, when you begin to understand the higher order and the structure of how the universe works, then you think less and less about these things. You understand that it's necessary. It has to happen this way. Does it mean that all of these people who are put through these karmic cycles that are a result of their behavior are going to be recovered? No, absolutely not. But that's between them and the universe. Your responsibility is you, your path, your purpose, your destiny, and taking complete control over all which you can actually control in your everyday waking life. That's all you need to do. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? High Priestess, Pisces energy at the heart. So these energies here have chosen a different path from you, okay? And this is something that's going to start becoming clearer and clearer to you. And this is not a fun realization to have, especially when it has to do with people that you were once very close to, right? Because you also start to see that they were that way this entire time. They had a thought process that was very different from yours. They're disconnected from what you are connected to. I'm getting this very polarized energy here from this High Priestess, right? We see an angel and a devil, right? It's like a split. It's right there in the middle of the reading. It's like when you break away from these energies, there's these two very clear paths that open up. You have your path where you're going towards this star card energy, and they have their path where they're going towards everything that is in direct alignment with their wickedness, right? So that karmic cycle. I feel like there's a big split taking place inside the collective right now as we speak. This is why it's very important that you don't hold yourself back for other people, right? Don't wait around for other people to change. Don't wait around for other people to get the picture. Most commonly, I see people do this when it comes to toxic relationships, family members, people that they think that they need to be there for. And yes, it's okay to be there for people, but there does come a point where you need to cut them loose, right? You cannot sacrifice yourself for another person. And you also need to think about the kind of person that would allow you to do that, right? And look, every single situation is different. I cannot speak for every single one of your situations. Everything is circumstantial, okay? So that message there is not for all of you. Then on this side of the card, we have the Ten of Cups. Also Pisces energy. And right there it says Divine Warrior. Now, this card here is showing us alignment, okay, taking place. It's like there's your higher self. There's you in the here and now, okay? There's some sort of calibration that's taking place here. It's like the divine saying, hey, yeah, you need to start doing for you, okay? Just worry about yourself right now. Focus on you. That's the best thing you can do for anyone. Get out of the way, focus on what you can control, and everything will begin to smooth out. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. So the Hermit's been in the energy for this entire reading. The message I gave at the beginning of the reading about being in a period of isolation and rebuilding yourself, that's a Hermit kind of message. But I will say this, there's a heavy presence of the divine here right now for all of you. I don't feel like I'm speaking to any one particular person right now. I feel like I'm speaking to a whole big group of you, right? It almost feels like a graduating class, which can speak about how extreme the shift is going to be and how important it is for you to stay focused and you do your part, right? I quite often say we all make an incremental difference, but who's to say if you relinquish your responsibilities to yourself that we would get the breakthrough, right? It's like the saying, every vote counts, right? Same thing here. Every one of you counts. The difference you make in your own individual life helps with the collective shift. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Three of Cups, Cancer energy underneath that Hangman at the throat. Okay. So whenever I get this Three of Cups, it's like there you are, child of the universe, and the 7 heavenly virtues around you, which are aligned with the 7 chakras, right? When they're in balance, 7 heavenly virtues. When they're out of balance, or twisted rather, 7 deadly sins, okay? So this is saying to me that all of you have been putting a lot of work into yourselves, and it's been accounted for. And because of this, you are going to start seeing things in your everyday waking life that are reflecting the changes and or discipline that you have been implementing in your life to just be better, right? Be better than you were yesterday, right? See, that's the thing. People get really overwhelmed in these spaces with these messages sometimes because they think that they need to do so much and you don't. A lot of the times it's all about just taking baby steps, right? Just be a little better than you were yesterday or last week or last month or last year, right? Okay, this year I'm going to accomplish this. Maybe it's with your health. Maybe it's with your stability. Maybe it has to do with some sort of project that you're finally going to start pushing forward. There's many different ways it can show up, okay? But the key here, again, is to just chip away, okay? There's no reason to get overwhelmed because getting overwhelmed actually goes against all of this. You want to get into flow, right? When you get into flow, this is a space where you just begin to trust that the universe is allowing things to unfold in an organic manner, right? But you also have to take inspired action, right? A lot of people get that wrong. They think, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm on this stoop and I'm just gonna wait for something to happen. I'm gonna wait for something to fall out of the sky. That is not what we're saying here at all, okay? Do the things you're being guided to do. You must put inspired action behind all of these things. I always say that. That's something that comes through in almost every single one of my readings. Inspired action, inspired action. Create movement. We are, after all, incremental pieces of evolution, and as we know, evolution is always on the go. It never stops for a break. So it's like you thinking about that. Okay, I'm an incremental piece of this. I'm a part of the universe. I'm a part of the collective. I'm going to get into the flow, right? It's sort of like flowing downstream in a river, right? You're just allowing the river to take you, but you're sort of swimming along with it. This Three of Cups here also says right hand of God, fame and renown. Now, the Star card is an energy of being in the spotlight. It doesn't necessarily always have to mean actual fame. It's more being in the spotlight of your life, right? You become famous in your own right, in your life, in your universe, right? It's like another way of saying you're meeting your goals, you're meeting your manifestations, you're meeting these visions head on, and or you're just accomplishing what you set out to do. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Knight of Swords, right underneath that Chariot. There's a lot of movement here. These are two of the fastest moving energies in the tarot. Knight of Swords is also an energy of lifestyle changes, right? Which pairs perfectly with the messages that we were channeling through with the Chariot right here. Because there was this graduation that we were feeling in the energy, and the Chariot was you now getting the wheels in motion to start making your way towards this new beginning, this new chapter, this new timeline. And I feel that the Knight of Swords here is giving that a little bit more push, right? It could be that we've just traversed through this energy here, and now a lot of you are feeling more motivated. You're feeling like, yes, I want to get up. I want to do this, right? That's what I'm getting with the Knight of Swords. And again, it just followed everything I said about inspired action, because the Knight of Swords is an energy that's action-oriented, right? You have an idea, you're going out, you're making it happen. When the universe says, yes, you know, you have these blessings coming through, that doesn't mean sitting in one spot. It means go out there, do everything you can, and then the universe is going to come through with support, right? Your relationship with the universe is give and take. You set the vibration for your experience, and the universe responds. If the universe sees you actively working in some space, they're going to come through and say, hey, great, let's do this, right? But if you're not actually doing anything and those visions are just staying locked up in your mind, then the universe is saying, okay, I guess that's where they want to be. The universe loves a passionate hard worker, somebody who, against all odds, is going to make something happen. That's what we're talking about here. All right, what do we have at the crown to close this out, please, Spirit? Seven of Cups, Scorpio energy at the crown underneath this Lovers to close out the reading. And again, that Seven of Cups just followed what I said, because the Seven of Cups is the daydreamer of the tarot, right? It's somebody who talks about doing everything but never does it, right? Never commits to something. It's all just wishful thinking and fantasy and escapism. Oh, I'm going to do this one day, right? It's also an energy of self-delusion, right? So that says it all. So this whole message right here is about motivation. Don't just speak about it, be about it, okay? The support is here for you, but now's the time. And I feel a lot of you have been in this cycle where it's been hard to push forward. There's been a lot of resistance there, but everything's changing now. So what you're feeling inside the energy is correct. So this is your opportunity. Whatever this is for you wants you as much as you want it. So make it a reality and say no more to it just being a dream. So with that, I will leave it here. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Also, consider giving this reading a hype, as it will help to get the video in the algorithm and push it out to other people who may need the reading. If you would like to join the membership section of my channel, you can click on the join button or find the link down below. I upload additional videos there each month. So go check it out. Those readings are quite potent because I pick up on a smaller collective of individuals. I'm also running a 15% off sale at PLUTOBEANstudio.com, where I have a number of items which are extensions of the creative output of my channel. You can see a lot of the items in the sidebar and also down below this video. So go check it out if you want to see some of the other things that I've been working on. I also still have some limited spots open for personal readings. You can find that information down below in the description. I also wanted to thank everybody who's been donating to my channel lately. Your donations help keep my channel going, so thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. But lastly, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you. So leave me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.